If Russia captures Ukraine's Odesa city, what will happen? Russia has already occupied nearly 20% of Ukraine's territory, and now Russia's next target is Ukraine's Odesa city. This city is extremely important for Russia, Ukraine, and the West. All three. And if Odesa slips out of Ukraine's hands, what message will go to America, NATO, and the entire Western world? Because this would raise serious questions about the credibility of the United States and NATO. They say at every step, we stand with Ukraine. For the last 2 years, the US and NATO have given Ukraine billions of dollars, thousands of tanks, guns, missiles, training, intelligence, everything. And they told their own people that they are fighting a battle of democracy versus autocracy. But if in the end there is no result, if Ukraine loses its land, gets cut off from the sea, and Russia sits on the coast, then when people in NATO countries and America ask, after doing all this, why did the outcome still turn out this way? What answer will they give? And why does Russia want to capture this city? And after capturing it, how will the global power balance change? We will understand all this in today's video. First of all, let us understand, why is Odesa so important? Odesa is not an ordinary city of Ukraine. This single city feeds the entire country because Ukraine's biggest, most important, and warm water port is located here. Ukraine has a total of 12 other ports, out of which 3 are under Russian control. The remaining ones are small and non-warm water ports. Non-warm water ports remain closed most of the time due to ice. Ships require icebreakers to enter these ports, but the Odesa port operates for 12 months. Ice does not freeze here, and it remains open throughout the year. Because of this, Ukraine's import and export do not face interruptions, and the Ukrainian Navy can conduct operations at any time. This port connects Ukraine to the Black Sea, from where Ukraine reaches Europe, Africa, and Asia through its ships, and exports wheat, corn, sunflower oil, metals, industrial products, and more to the world. Through this port, Ukraine earns foreign currency and also imports essential goods. That is why the Odesa port is extremely important for Ukraine. Now the biggest question is, if Russia captures the Odesa port, what losses will Ukraine suffer? If Russia captures the Odesa port, there will be 4 major losses. First, the biggest impact after the capture will be on Ukraine's economy, because after this, Russia will gain control over the entire Black Sea, and Ukraine will almost turn into a landlocked country. Once Odesa port is captured, Ukraine will be nearly cut off from the sea. Then, to sell its goods, Ukraine will have to depend on the railways, roads, and ports of neighboring countries like Romania, Poland, and Hungary. This will increase transport costs, slow down deliveries, and make Ukrainian goods more expensive in the global market, which will reduce exports. Second, there will be a direct impact on grain exports. Ukraine has been one of the world's largest grain exporters. Ukraine is considered a pillar of food security for many countries in Africa and the Middle East. If Russia captures the Odesa port, shipments will become very limited or very expensive, which will reduce Ukraine's income, and food prices and instability may increase in many poor countries. Third, there will be an impact on foreign investment and industry. Look, no multinational company wants to set up long-term factories or projects in a country that has no direct access to the sea, where infrastructure is damaged, and where the security situation is uncertain. If Russia captures the Odesa port tomorrow, Ukraine may have to rely only on Western aid and loans for years for reconstruction, jobs, and growth. Fourth, the political and social impact. Millions of Ukrainians have already taken refuge in Europe and other countries. Losing Odesa will deepen the no-way-back feeling. Many people may never return permanently. Inside the country as well, a narrative may strengthen that the West pushed us into this war, but in the end, we are the ones who lost. If I say it briefly, without Odesa, Ukraine's economic independence is almost finished. The country could turn into a weak, debt-dependent, landlocked or near-landlocked state, forced to rely on external support for years. Now you will ask, why would Russia capture the Odesa port? After all, why is the Odesa port so important for Russia? For Russia, this port is extremely important. There are 4 reasons for this. First, from the southern part of Donbas to Crimea and then up to Odesa, a continuous Russian corridor can be created. This would give the Russian Navy an almost unchallenged presence in the Black Sea. And capturing the Odesa port essentially means controlling the entire Black Sea. Second, securing Crimea will become much easier for Russia. Ukraine's biggest target has been Crimea and the bridges and infrastructure there. Although Crimea was earlier a part of Ukraine, Russia later captured it. If Russia controls the Black Sea and deploys its forces there, it will become very difficult for Ukraine to attack Crimea or take it back. Third, Russia can benefit in terms of trade and energy. Russia has around 67 to 70 seaports. Out of these, only 3 are warm water ports. The rest of the ports remain closed for most of the year. That is why Russia has always had its eyes on this port. If Russia controls this port, it can use this route to transport oil, gas, grain, metals, and more. And the day Russia captures Odesa, from that day onward, Russia will be able to put pressure on Europe and Middle Eastern countries, because this city is considered the key to the security of both NATO and Ukraine. Fourth, the political narrative will become stronger. After capturing Odesa, it will be easier for Putin to create domestic support and an atmosphere of victory. Putin will be able to say, "We have not only taken Donbas, but also reclaimed historic Russian cities and the Black Sea coast." And in my view, this could be Putin's biggest victory, because at this time there is a lot of anger among people in Russia due to Putin's stubborn attitude and poor policies. We have also made a video on this. You can go and watch it. Now, if Russia actually captures Odesa, what message will go to the United States, NATO, and the entire Western world? Because this will raise serious questions about the credibility of the US and NATO. They say at every step, "We stand with Ukraine." And for the last 2 years, the United States and NATO have given Ukraine billions of dollars, thousands of tanks, guns, missiles, training, intelligence, everything. And they told their own people that they are fighting a battle of democracy versus autocracy. But if in the end there is no result, if Ukraine loses its territory, gets cut off from the sea, and Russia sits on the coast, then when people in NATO countries and America ask, after doing all this, why did the outcome still turn out this way? What answer will they give? And this is exactly what Donald Trump is doing with Pakistan. Trump is currently giving aid to Pakistan, because of which Pakistan is building up its military on the India-Pakistan border. On the other hand, India is also conducting military exercises, and it is possible that by the end of February we may see a major conflict. We will talk about this some other time. Second, after the capture of Odesa, this will be a warning for the rest of the world. Many NATO allies and Asian countries rely on US security guarantees. If America could not protect even such a close partner like Ukraine from territorial loss, then tomorrow, will America really be willing to take risks for us? Third, the global South and BRICS may become stronger. Because of Donald Trump, relations between Russia and India are currently at their peak. And recently, India's foreign minister clearly said that we can form any new group with any country. We are independent. We will decide whom we maintain relations with and whom we do not. So it is possible that BRICS may become stronger in the future. But I do not think BRICS will ever stand strongly, because China's Belt and Road Initiative passes through that part of Pakistan, which India considers as Pakistan-occupied territory. Because of this, I do not think India will fully accept BRICS. What is your opinion on this? Do tell us in the comments. Fourth, there will be an impact on the Western economy and politics. Because of the Russia-Ukraine war, the West is spending huge amounts of money on Ukraine, due to which inflation has increased sharply in Western countries. In such a situation, if Russia captures Odesa, energy will become even more expensive, which will deal a major blow to European industry. And within the Western public, both questions and anger will increase. After bearing such huge costs, why is the result still zero? Now, if what we have imagined so far actually happens, how will the global power balance change? And will America still remain the ultimate superboss? The capture of Odesa does not mean that America will suddenly become a weak country. It still has the world's largest military, the main global financial system, high-tech industries, and strong allies. But after this event, one thing will become clear, that even with economic sanctions, proxy wars, and narrative building, America cannot control outcomes everywhere. After this incident, the limits of all three will be openly exposed to the world. On the other hand, countries in Africa, Latin America, the Middle East, and Asia will receive a message that it is possible to survive without blindly following everything the West says. The price will be high, but a balanced foreign policy without complete dependence on the West can still be adopted. So overall, capturing Odesa will not be just a military victory for Russia or Putin. It will be a hard test for Ukraine's economy, Europe's security, and America's power, all three. Now the question is, after all this, will America still remain the world's superboss? What are your views on this? Do tell us in the comments. And many people have this question in their minds. Why are America and the West spending so much money on Ukraine in the Russia-Ukraine war? Why is there discussion around the world that America and the West are responsible for this war? Because the whole world knows that Russia launched the first attack. So why are America and the West considered responsible for this war? Did the West and America together push Ukraine into this war? We will understand this in the next video, because this is a very long and complex topic. According to you, if Russia captures Odesa, who will suffer the most? Ukraine, Russia, or the West and America? Do write in the comments. Thank you for watching the video.